Alright, so let's get to the motor repair itself. So I've already done my other one. I wanted to just do one, see how it went, see what kind of problems I ran into, and I did video that as well, and I had a lot of problems with the first side. So the first problem I had is there's a block here with a pin. There's a pin. It doesn't look like a normal dowel pin. It goes by many names. I call it a roll pin. It can be called a spring pin. They're calling it here a tension pin. What they are is a dowel pin that has a hole through the middle and a slot down the side, and it allows it to compress and expand. So it's a little bigger than the hole right now, so when you tap it in, it's compressed. Well, what happened was, when I took mine out, they just literally broke into two pieces, and it happened on both sides. I've seen videos where people just knock them part of the way out, not to fully remove them. Okay, that's fine, and if you do that, they're probably not going to break. But the fact that they broke when fully removed really bothers me. What it means is this is fatigue. This is 26 years old. Just off the shelf, I was able to find a 5/32 by 3/4 inch long, and they're calling it a tension pin. And you can buy these at most home improvement stores. They'll have a section with specialty tools. I got this at Menards. They seem to have the largest variety. So I was able to buy a 3/4 inch long and a 1 inch long. The 1 inch long was too long and it was gonna stick out the sides. The 3/4 inch is too short and it's gonna be inside, but I would rather have short and inside versus sticking out, giving it an opportunity to catch on something as this is moving or rotating. And the headlights flip fairly fast, so I don't want anything sticking out that could catch. I'm sure I'm overthinking this and it's not a big deal, but I would rather have shorter so it's a little bit recessed on each side. The other benefit to having something shorter, to knock this pin out, I used a 5/32 punch. It fit in the hole perfectly. The problem was the pin was flush with the ends. The problem with the pin being flush to the sides is when you go to knock it out, you have to make sure that your punch is centered on the pin, or else you're going to be hammering against this bracket or the housing. So with the pin being a little bit shorter and recessed inside of this block, it's going to allow my punch to be guided by the hole before I tap the pin out. Now, this is only if I ever have to remove this again. But that's where the benefit of shorter versus longer comes in. So the motor itself is attached to the bracket by 3 T30 bolts. One is here, and you can't get at it because the housing's in the way. I'll show you how to get at it. There's one right above it. I started to remove it already, so it's broken free. It's right here. And then there's one right here, again, broken free. The one from the outside, it's a long bolt. It's a long bolt. The one from the two on the back side are shorter bolts. This T30 bolt here that's being blocked by the bracket, that one caused me a little bit of problem. The problem was my T30 socket is for a 3/8 drive. It's very large here. The the housing of the socket's large. It doesn't get down inside there. I could not reach the bolt I needed to. So, not sure if you'll be able to see this or not. There's a bolt, and this will actually have to be moved. I need to twist this to rotate this block, and that allows me to get to the bolt. There's a bolt straight in here, and there's a bolt here. This one's easy to get at. This is where I had to buy a tool. I haven't had to buy a tool for a project in a while. I was able to find a T30 for a 1/4 inch drive, and now that, as you can see, is much smaller in diameter, and it fits right down in there. You'll notice by turning the knob changes the angle at which this block is. That's important because you want it lined up so that your Torx bit is going straight into the bolt. Now, some people use Torx bit Allen wrenches, and you could use a Torx bit screwdriver. I would definitely not recommend either of those. I would only use a ratchet, and the reason is the amount of leverage you get. I would definitely recommend socket bit for this job. Absolutely. So let's see how this breaks free. Oh, there it goes. So don't remove it, you just want to break it free, and I'm going to do the same for the front. The wiring for this motor, they tuck it around the motor, and it's very snug. You're going to want to get that out of there. Very carefully manipulate it. There we go. Now I have all this room to work. I'm going to use a cloth just to protect my paint. What's keeping it in right now is the front of this bracket. You want to just get it off of there like that. There you go. Now it's going to be in here. You should be able to slide that out. There we go, just like that. There's a piece in here. Take a picture, make note of how this sits in here. This is very important. I took a picture already on my other one, so I know. Now here is where I broke the bolt off. I broke off one of these bolts. It just snapped right off. Just nasty. Okay, I just snapped the bolt off. Unbelievable. That is not good. Yeah, it was seized in there. Let's see what happens. You'll know right away. Oh, it broke free real nice. So that one's good. This one's good. And this one's good. I can't get this gear out, and I'm almost positive that it's this rigid lip behind the worm gear that's not letting it come out. The motor is a right-hand motor. That's a left-hand motor. The caps are on opposite sides, or in other words, the gear comes out on this side on the left-hand motor. So that step isn't in effect. This is just blowing my mind. So I'm gonna loosen the whole motor itself, I loosened these two screws, or these, to allow the motor to wiggle, which is letting that worm gear move. And I'm hoping that worm gear moves enough for me to be able to pull this out. Unbelievable that I had to do that. So here's the moment of truth. Let's see. The gear itself looks good. Oh, here we go. Here we go. See it? There's no pellets. The pellets are gone. So yeah, this big pile of dust is what's left of these 3 pellets. I'm going to take a little screwdriver and just clean out the pellets. They're all packed. They're all packed in these crevices. I just have a really small screwdriver. You could use a little pick, a pin, anything that's going to allow you to get in here and clean these out. The gears look the same. I am going to not get them mixed up though. Left hand and right hand. It looks like everything's the same. They have the same numbers, 51072-41. 51072-41. It looks like the gears are going in the same direction. I'm going to not get these mixed up. I want to clean them really well. I want to inspect them. I saw a little nugget of information on the forums that I thought was pretty legit. And I commented that my gears, when I took my first one apart, my gear looked really good, so I'm not going to replace it. I don't see any need to. What a forum member pointed out that I didn't think about is I should inspect very carefully under HeadLight to see if there's any stress cracks in there. If I held this up to the sunlight, I can actually see through it pretty well. So when I have more time, I'm going to investigate these gears just a little bit better before I put everything back together.